Panama Canal and Suez Canal are the two most important man-made waterways in the world. While the Panama Canal is revered for being an engineering marvel, Suez Canal is known for its geographic and strategic significance. Suez Canal was instrumental in causing two major battles, including one during World War II. On both occasions, Britain fought fiercely to maintain its control of the canal, though they had staunchly opposed the construction of the canal. Why is this waterway so important? Watch the video to find out why. Let's also learn about the incident when many ships got trapped in the Suez Canal for as long as 8 years. The trade relations between Europe and Asia go back many centuries. Most of the trade happened via the sea. But the Europeans had to travel around the tip of Africa to reach important Asian trade destinations of India and China. However, this meant months of travel. So it was important to find a shortcut connecting Europe and Asia. It was in 19th century BC that the first attempt to connect the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea began. Monarchs of ancient Egypt, the pharaohs, had successfully built a canal connecting the Nile River to the Red Sea. But this waterway was lost in time. The first ruler to have considered building the Suez Canal, as we know now, was France, Napoleon Bonaparte. He assessed that by constructing a direct canal connecting the two seas, France can considerably increase their influence in Asia. The planning for the canal started soon afterwards. It was soon discovered through wrongly that the two seas had different water levels. This would require the use of intricate lock chambers and the project was abandoned. 50 years later, the mistake was identified and the French resumed the project soon after. It was a French diplomat, Ferdinand de Lesseps, who strategized the project. Lesseps maintained close relations with Egyptian ruler Saadet Pasha. Lesseps could convince Pasha that Egypt could benefit enormously from the proposed waterway. Soon, they entered into a contract for 99 years for the construction and operation of canal. Lesseps had envisioned that the canal will be purely a commercial establishment. Any ship from anywhere in the world should be able to pay toll and cross it. However, Britain was a superpower back then and France's regional rival opposed the project right from the start. This was because Britain had absolute control over the existing route around Africa. A French-controlled canal, they feared, would undermine their influence over their many colonies, including their own crown jewel, India. It would also render the British-built train route that can run parallel to the proposed Suez Canal irrelevant. Britain alleged that the project would be extremely complicated and expensive, while waterway would be too narrow for bigger ships to pass through. They also opined that the income from the tolls would not be even enough to maintain the canal in a good shape. They even started spreading rumors that building the canal was not even a feasible prospect. Nevertheless, Ferdinand de Lesseps and France decided to go ahead with the project. In order to raise funds for the project, Lesseps decided to trade the Suez Canal Company shares in the stock market. But given the negativity that the British spread about the canal, overseas buyers were reluctant to buy these shares. The project could only begin once 50% of the shares were bought out by the French investors and 44% shares by Pasha. The excavation of the sand for the project alone took around 10 years. Britain then alleged the use of forced labor for this, and the allegations were not entirely untrue. The canal became operational in 1869 after overcoming many technological, financial, and political hurdles. By then, the cost of the project had become double of what was initially estimated. At the same time, very few ships took this route, and this meant that the toll income was much less than expected. Also, it became a regular occurrence for ships to get stuck in the canal since it was not as deep as it should have been. Once these teething problems were rectified, the canal registered impressive growth. It revolutionized the global cargo transport. Sea travel that had until then taken months to complete could now be completed in a matter of weeks. But the given traders who once had to resort to the sea route via Africa now no longer had to do so. The investors who had invested in heavily Africa were suddenly in trouble. This led to an entirely unexpected global economic depression which badly affected Said Pasha too. He had also amassed huge debts for financing the construction of the canal. Pasha had to part with his 44% ownership of the canal. Britain seized this opportunity and bought the shares from Pasha. Once the control of the canal shifted entirely into the hands of Britain and France, the traffic through the route improved significantly. At the same time, the Egyptians who feared over Western influence over their territory started revolting against the canal. Britain, with the support of France, responded by colonizing most of the Egypt. Even after Egypt gained independence in 1936, Britain was unwilling to surrender control of the canal. The canal remained under the control of France and Britain during the World War II, under the leadership of iconic German general Erwin Rommel. The Axis powers had made concerted efforts to seize control of Egypt and control. Italy and Germany estimated that by seizing control of this strategic route, the cargo movement to Britain could be disrupted. But Britain quashed this attempt with American support. Once the 99-year contract on the canal ended, Egypt demanded that the control of the canal be returned to them. France and Britain agreed reluctantly. The then Egyptian president Abdel Nasser then nationalized the canal. He then banished the movement of Israeli ships through Suez Canal as well as Straits of Tiran. Enraged Israel invaded the Sinai Peninsula, resulted in a full-fledged war among two countries. On the pretext of mediating the conflict, Britain and France sent across their own armies to the area. The motive was, of course, to take back the control of the canal. Eventually, UN had to intervene to reinstate the matters to its initial state. But the peace did not last long. In 1967, Israel invaded the Sinai Peninsula once again. Egypt stood firm on their stance of not letting Israeli ships pass through the canal by blocking the entrances. They sank down their own ships and lined the passage with mines. This went on for the next 6 years. In 1973, on Yom Kippur Day, Egypt crossed the Suez Canal and attempted to recapture Sinai. But this was in vain and Egypt was pushed back with a counter-crossing of Suez Canal. It took another UN intervention for both the countries to retreat back to their original boundaries. Though the war was ended in 1973, it took another 2 years of the canal to reopen after the wreckage and the mines were finally dealt with. When the war started in 1967, 15 ships got trapped in the canal. It took 8 long years before the ships could finally be moved out. By then, the ships had even started accumulating rust. In the years when the canal remained closed, world cargo trade witnessed a 20% of decline. Today, Egypt retains the control of the canal and the ships from any country can pass through upon the payment of a toll. Since no locks are needed, as in the case of Panama Canal, huge ships can easily pass through. Only the enormous super tankers will find it impossible to pass through this waterway. Ships pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in toll for each passage across the canal. Egypt receives more than $6 billion in income via the canal. Understanding the importance of the canal, Egypt had proactively renovated the canal a few years back by widening an existing lanes and constructing new ones. Today, as many as 97 ships pass through the canal every day. Egypt now plans to boost the country's economic growth by constructing huge economic zones and IT parks along the canal. They estimate over 35% of country's economy will soon be contributed by the region alone. Egypt is today known as the gift of the Nile. It is certainly not the exaggeration to say that in the future, it may be very well be called the gift of the Suez Canal.